You look at the core values and core principles of Adolf Hitler and Nazism. What is it based on? It's based on genetics. This is that philosophy of geneticism and discriminating against people based on their genes. And that's the...
So they're just doing Nazi stuff now. They're just trying to do this inverse Nazi rhetoric in order to push, again, Nazi rhetoric. A sleight of hand, if you will. Yes. Was it not the new Nazis? Yeah, Nazis too, who went after the white people.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the German thing, but I think you're right on this.
Was that one too far for Fox News and Jesse Waters? Damn. All right, well, okay, Jesse's got a bar. We now know what it is. I guess you're paddling upstream on this one alone, Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbards. She's a former presidential candidate and a Fox News contributor. And you can go down the list of the cabinet, Tulsi. I think we're a little tired of the diversity stuff.
Yeah, you know, Jesse, what we're seeing here is
This is the weirdest thing to make out into an issue. Like, not the fact that there's diversity in and of itself. I know the right hates diversity. I know it's one of the big scary things. Like pronouns, you know, multiculturalism, pronouns, diversity, children's toys not being the same as they remember when they were children, children's books not being the same as they remember when they were children, even though they can still access their old racist ass books. But you know, that's their thing. But a weird thing just to flip out because there's too much diversity. Being like, oh, whoa, there's a diverse cabinet, you say? But they weren't picked for the quality of their character. They were picked for the color of their skin. That sounds to me like the racism. That's the opposite of what Martin Luther King Jr. spoke about.
philosophy, identity politics. And this is one of the main reasons why I left the Democratic Party, because you're seeing how their agenda of identity politics is directly undermining the traditional democratic values that were expressed so beautifully.
So did they make a statement that they intentionally did a diversity hire, that they had a quota, that they were like, we're only going to appoint to this cabinet a set amount of people based on fulfilling those objectives? Or is this who they picked and now you're like, it's a bit diverse? Looking a little ethnic. Are we allowed to use that word, or am I going to be cancel culture 1984 over here? Can we say that?
And clearly by Dr. Martin Luther King, that we should judge each other not based on the color of our skin, but based on our character. And yet, as
I didn't pre-watch this, but of course, I bet, yeah, you can't have a conversation about multiculturalism, diversity, quotas, you know, hiring rates without talking about that. You know what's wild? So recently, new episode of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver talking about AI. One thing I never thought of when I talk about hiring rates and racism, because we all know the statistics, the studies, we've read about them, how if you have a, say, black sounding name versus a white sounding name or a Caucasian sounding name, then you're going to have a higher percentage of an opportunity to get a callback. You won't even get that first interview. It's just something that is going to be biased against you, a racism, if you will. That's one element. Today, thanks to AI, human beings often aren't the ones who are reading the majority of resumes. It's all computers. It's computer systems. The advice that people give you in like school and you know, job fairs and stuff like that is to really separate yourself. You know, make your resume unique. That way it stands out when they're going through them. It'll be like white resume, white resume, white resume, and then all of a sudden this one will have a whole bunch of colors and shapes and stuff, and the name's not where it should be. And that's how you really stand. No. That you won't make it past the first round of the AI, because the AI is just going to distinctly be looking for patterns that it's trying to recognize and utilizing those patterns into its hiring process. Like everything else made by people, as of right now, AI is racist. The systemic racism, institutional racism, programmed racism in all of us is reflected in the very artificial intelligences that we design. Now, you can try to correct for that, but the AI starts to learn ways to cheat, and it starts to learn ways to go around that while looking for other things, because you are asking it to generate a certain kind of outcome. If that outcome is best possible hire that will make me the most money in my company, etc., in pursuit of that, it's racist. Apparently, and this isn't just the AI behind, this is all AI that we are utilizing on this scale. The same thing is happening for self-driving AI. They were discovering that darker skinned people had a higher probability of being struck by self-driving vehicles, like Teslas, for example. Yeah, the shit is directly programmed into it. So when people always talk about how, like, it's actually the opposite now, like, you know, the Scott Adams Dilbert style stuff where it's like, it's the opposite now. It's harder than ever to be white in America. It's very hard. You cannot get hired for anything because they all have to meet quotas. They all have diversity quotas in universities. They all have to be able to get a certain percentage of students, and white people are just left alone, and they're having a hard time. And it sucks because these people dominate that conversation. They're the ones who are just 24/7. Like right now, what is the whole right wing concerned with? Anti-white racism. Look at this compilation of all these black people saying that it's not okay to be white. Look at this study that came out saying it's not okay to be white. Look at this, blah, blah, blah. They hate white people. They hate white people. Blah, blah, blah. And these are the people who hate white people. Conservatives. They hate white working class people. Rich white people. Oh, those are good people. Those are pretty good people. Yeah. But working class whites. No, they don't care about them. They fill their brains with this poison. That's all they do all day. They don't talk to them about things that will tangibly help their lives. They don't talk to them about organizing in the workplace, doing direct action, getting more worker power, unionizing, heaven forbid. No, they want them to stay poor. And not only poor, but scared, angry, and racist. Because that's what you're going to be doing with all this. If you have white people thinking, holy shit, oh, there's an actual anti-white racism thing going on. It's not okay to be right. Black people hate white people. We should move to our own cities again. Like, what, are we doing white flight number 7 now? But either way, it's going to keep them away from doing the things that will actually help their lives. It's going to keep them focused on the shit that is consistently going to keep them angry and scared, and it's going to reinforce a lot of really easy things because we've already been programmed with them. It's way easier to go down this road. It's way easier to see this kind of shit and be like, maybe they're right. Maybe Martin Luther King Jr. is being spat upon here because he said that thing about the content of the character, right? Not about the color of the skin. And I feel like these people are just being hired for the color of their skin. This could have been an all-white cabinet of more talented men. Why don't we have the all-male cabinet?
As you have displayed here over and over with example after example, they're proud to be judging people, hiring people, selecting people based on race, which is really, let's be clear how serious of a problem this is. It's based on genetics, race, based on your blood, your genes.
Okay, what? Holy fuck. I guess become besties with Matt Walsh and you're gonna get down a little bit of race theory. Your genetics, what? Race isn't real. There's no such thing as the races. There's not like the white people that magically change over time. At one point, this is what the white person is. But then we're going to have to get rid of Italians and Irish. So they're not white, but they're still the pure Aryan whites. Yes. Oh, the Anglo-Saxon whites. Those are the superior whites. Don't worry about those inferior whites. They're no longer white. Yes. What are they? Well, they're Italian and Irish. Not white, but Italian and Irish. Yeah. I mean, they can call themselves whatever they want. We know what we're doing.
And where do we see that connection? Well, these are the very same geneticist core principles embodied by Nazism and Adolf Hitler. And this should be...
No, they're not. Well, that is disgustingly downplaying the horrifying atrocities of both Adolf Hitler and the Holocaust, which, yes, he did believe in race science, and he did believe in the inferiority of other races. Hiring non-white people into a cabinet is not the same thing as doing the Holocaust. Different things are extremely, exceptionally, and mind-blowingly different here, Tulsi. This is the same thing that the Nazis did, right? The Nazis did this.
Something that is...
Yes, the Nazis hired an incredibly diverse, multi-ethnic cast as their upper chamber, and that was basically what happened. It was incredibly diverse at the time. This is 101. Yeah, Adolf Hitler's entire cabinet, mostly black.
Is sickening and alarming to every single Democrat and every single American. We have seen where this philosophy can lead. The American people deserve so much more. We need leaders.
By the way, this is like far right Stormfront style rhetoric. I try to point that out because sometimes people are like, "Oh my God, you always call this stuff like Stormfront." These like when we used to look at articles that were in Stormfront, there would be a handful of things that continue to reappear. The same themes. It would be like IQ levels. Did you know that there's actually anti-white racism, that we are losing demographics of white people? Did you know that white people are actually facing the same persecution that the other races did under the Nazis? So basically, this is completely reversed now. Now the persecution of white people is akin to the persecution that marginalized people have experienced at different points in history. And it's like, no, different things are extremely different.
Who will elect, who will select people based on their character, how committed they are to the Constitution.
I thought the cons hate when libs call everyone Nazis. True.
And the capabilities that they bring to actually do the job that they're hired to do. Most importantly, they're...
Okay, so what evidence are you presenting, Tulsi, that these people are A, unqualified? Because for some positions, I could tell you why I don't like them, but I'm not going to tell you it's based on the fact that they aren't white enough. I wouldn't be like, well, yeah, you know what's really wrong with her? The fact that she's black. Yeah, I know. Because, again, it could have been someone white. If they had higher credentials, obviously. I'm not saying an untalented white person should take that position. I'm saying a more talented white person should take every position. Like every position should be hired based on how talented they are as a white person, obviously.
Heart. Do they have a heart and commitment for serving the American people? As you said, putting service above any selfish interest.
Any selfish interests? Which interests would those be? Would they be if someone was black and they had black interests at mind? Is it like they're not going to put the right order of priorities? They might be thinking about helping their community.
Interest, actually waking up every day saying, how can I best serve the American people who I'm charged to serve in whatever.
I need like a fun dog whistle sounding button, because during the Tulsi segments it would just be going off the whole time. Okay, that's not what a dog whistle. I can't go that high. All right, I can't do those pitches.
Job it may be.
You're saying the focus on genetics is in a way similar to what was going on in Germany.
You look at the core values and core principles of Adolf Hitler and Nazis, and what is it based on? It's based on genetics. This is that philosophy of geneticism and discriminating against people based on their genes, and that's the.
So they're just doing Nazi stuff now. They're just trying to do this inverse Nazi rhetoric in order to push, again, Nazi rhetoric. It's sleight of hand, if you will. Yes. Was it not the new Nazis? Yeah, Nazis too, who went after the white people. Exactly. No one was willing to say it.
Issue here, really, when you cut to the core of it, when they're standing there saying, hey, we are proud to be selecting people solely based on race, that is alarming to me on so many levels. You see them, oh, we were going to select someone.
When did they say that? Do we have a quote? Is that what Biden said? I mean, I'm not putting it past Biden. He talks a lot of gibberish these days. He's mostly malarkey. He's more malarkey than man. I'll grant you that, okay? He's not in a great way. That being said, I don't know if that's what they said, you know?
Based on their race, based on their gender, these immutable characteristics that we're born with. This goes against, again, the very vision our founders had for us. It goes against...
What, the slave-owning rapists? I think they'd be okay with whatever you're describing right now.
Traditional democratic values, and most of all, the American people deserve to know that those in positions of power and leadership are putting their interests first, regardless of race or gender or religion or politics or anything else. That's the responsibility of our leaders, and that's what we, the American people, deserve.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the German thing, but I think you're right on this.
Was that one too far for Fox News and Jesse Waters? Damn. All right, well, okay, Jesse's got a bar. We now know what it is. I guess you're paddling upstream on this one alone, Tulsi.
Point. They care about what the administration looks like, but they don't care about what we look like. And yes. We're out here saying, hey, we need this, we need that. Can you? And they're not even looking at us. They're just looking at
they're putting themselves first.
Right, exactly.
They're putting themselves first, and that alone is a huge disqualifier.
Exactly. All right. Thank you very much, Tulsi. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Jesse.
Let's see.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox
Biden
News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling.
No, silence. Biden pledges historic cabinet diversity. Here's how the nominees stack up. President Biden pledged to make his cabinet the most diverse in U.S. history, better representing the makeup of the country. The NPR analysis of the past 3 administration initial cabinets shows so far he has kept his word with an inner circle that outdoes his 2 most recent predecessors in terms of representation of race and gender. How diverse has the cabinet's been? And then there's the breakups. When broken down by race and gender, Biden's diverse cabinet is nearly 55% non-white and 45% female. Confirmation hearings are still underway or have not yet started for the number of positions. Former President Donald Trump's initial cabinet was 82% white, 82% male. Former President Barack Obama's was 55% white, 64% male. Biden's cabinet also includes multiple historic nominations that aren't highlighted in these overall numbers, including Pete Buttigieg, the first openly gay secretary confirmed by the cabinet, Janet Yellen, the first woman to lead the Secretary of Department, and Deb Haaland, who, if confirmed, would be the first Native American in a president's cabinet. Numbers don't tell you everything, and so in this small sample size, just look at the scene. It looks like he's doing okay with diversity, but in fact there are a lot of historical firsts, said Catherine Tempest, the non-resident senior fellow of governance studies in Brookings Institution. Tempest noticed that the Biden nominees included a number of breaks for the past administration, appointing women and racial minorities to positions that have historically been held exclusively by white men. I think he gets extra credit for putting them in positions that historically never happened, and I would describe it as being determined commitment to diversity. Even before his nominees were announced, Biden had been under pressure from activists and civil rights groups to not only have a diverse cabinet, but also to pursue concrete policies to address inequality in the U.S. I'm gonna just give everyone a glimpse into the future when it comes to this one. In Canada's appointment of a very diverse cabinet, it was done by when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau came to power. One of the first things he did is he was like, I want to have, representation of women, non-white people in positions. I'm happy, or maybe sorry, to report to people that it did not change dramatically the material conditions of the marginalized groups to have the incredibly diverse parliamentary system. It wasn't like there has been there has been some changes towards Indigenous conditions, but there's still 40+ reserves in Canada that don't have water. Trudeau still tried to sue the families of residential school survivors in court. He was definitely more, I take a knee or I take a stand at this point than I am actually going to materially help Black Canadians' lives or anything like that. So the diversity will not result immediately in a complete change in the American way of life. It's not going to end white supremacy, even if you have a very diverse cabinet, as long as a lot of those systems are reinforced by powers that are external of the government itself. So just so you know, you don't have to worry too much, Tulsi. This isn't the suddenly upending of the structure of America and anything like that. So we got that part.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.